Today we have a conversation with the author of the grandiose, ambitious, making positive revolution in ideas of Christian theology project, The Truth of Heaven, Anatoly Pasterev. How did you came to the true faith? How did you begin to study Bible meticulously, and how long have been doing it? In life of each person, such moment happens when imperfection of this world leads in search to the true faith. When there is no more truth in the carnal being, we should look for it in faith. While you have closer acquaintance with the Holy Bible, a Christian holds out for finding and strengthening of their spiritual content, disappointing by the principles and imaginary values of the carnal being. While you are studying the Holy Bible, it is impossible to control time, because time is not inferior over the spiritual after light and in faith. How did the idea of creating a picture come? The idea came from God. As it was truly said, a person cannot take anything unless it is given to him from the heaven, especially in such questions and about such topic. As each person, being born, comes to this world with the aim given to them from above. The only difference is that for someone it is given a lot and for others less. So, those who have more things entrusted will be exacted from more. And that is why, with the help of God, in the process of perception and meaningful search, a spiritual idea, which gradually appeared in my heart, got the visual expression in worth and great representation of a person's greatness, who is a crown of God's creation, with the help of the picture, the glorification of God, because it absolutely corresponds with the fact that God created Adams as His image and likeness. Nowadays, the state of the world is disquieting. Isn't it the result of malicious action of the devil and Satan to the minds and souls of people? Yes, it's true and has always been true. And to confirm this, it was said by God about the devil. He was a manslayer from the beginning. Therefore, a holy apostle John also said, "All the world is in the evil, as the evil in this world appeared from the devil, and people infected this virus of death from him." As a human, how is it to realize that in many particular spiritual questions, which are so important for the whole mankind, that exactly you was given to know correctly and understand, as nobody in the world before you, from the after apostles' time, was given to know and understand the truth? It is possible that such circumstances could turn someone's head. However, for me personally, it is a necessary obligation, as the Holy Apostle Paul had his own obligation. As I have to do everything to bring the true idea in such questions by the elimination of the wrong interpretations in Christian dogmatic theology and the glorification of the truth of God over human misperceptions in the worthiest and glorious way. And moreover, just few of you can fully imagine what a great inner pressure I have to overcome, especially when you understand that the truth of God and veracity are on my side. Why in some countries the factual addiction and even direct obeisance to the devil and Satan by building his churches are rising, as well as foundation of his statues and monuments and other Satan's symbolism? It is because in those countries some individuals, as it is said, are too well off playing tolerance with evil spirits. Whereas the majority of people in this world understand that the devil and Satan himself is the main and the most dangerous enemy of each of us, and for the whole mankind from the beginning. Talking about existing statues of Satan in Madrid, in the image of the fallen angel, we have to understand that all of them, in their idea, are fake evidence of the fact that Satan supposedly was a real angel of light in the kingdom of heaven in the beginning, and only later, for his pride, was cast down from there. We have to say about it and make necessary conclusions that this common, not only for Christian theology, but also all over the world mistaken notion about Satan as an ex-angel of light is nothing but real heresy inspired by the devil's seduction. As such notion absolutely contradicts what was said about the devil and Satan in Bible. The theory which you offer is in fact a breakthrough in the worldwide Christian camp. How should real Christians, who have been told one thing at sermons and in interpretations for many years and centuries, accept the other one? Is it possible that it can lead to the rift among Christians? It can be. What will happen, the time will show. The understanding of the essence of the universe, which I got and which I would like to give to all the Christian world, is at odds to the stereotypical, habitual, during a lot of centuries, mistaken, heretic beliefs about the devil and Satan, which became Christians' dogmatic theology. I realized that perception of this new theory will not be easy, but the retribution of the honor, dignity, and recovery of the highest fairness towards the eternal fame of the holy and kingdom of heaven is the overdue necessity. As this infamous state of things in dogmatic theology negatively influences people's minds and souls, people who are not stated in the truth are unable and unwilling to conform the world intended and created by God. Praising seeming values, the mankind is going more and more down to the profundity of blind evil. Exactly because of it, the perception of the new, real state of things will become really painful for the majority of people in the implacable fighting for their understanding of the truth and spiritual ideals. Exactly as angels of light have never divided into good and bad in the kingdom of heaven, Christians will have to make the only possible for each one choice, to be on whose side, with Lord and His holy angels, or with their and our common enemy. And through this, each person, with their opinion, will make it into history of Christianity. Some of them, as taught and imperturbable supporter of God's truth, and some as ingrained in their own lie and misperception, apologists of the devil and Satan, raising him to the sky. So, according to this, let each Christian think and answer, if it is the rift or not. Do we have to beware of such rift? How did you get the understanding that the century-long study about the devil as an ex-angel of light in the theological dogmas to us is different, not in a good way, from the real deeds of the Bible? Studying Bible verses as well as any literature which is gripping you unintentionally begin to follow the course of events, arguments. At first, accepting everything declared by the great men of theology, I paid attention on the fact that some important moments described in the Bible about the right perception of the universe in general. As the forefather of all the mankind, Adam is not honored in appropriate way in the Holy Writ. Everything is attributed to the other Bible character, the devil. The original fame of the angels of light was also attributed to the devil and Satan. It was done exactly for the reason to persuade us to believe that the devil before was a real angel of light and was able to sin. Imagine that angels of light have ever been able to sin. It is an absolute absurd. In actual fact, angels of light are initially hardshell force, which reliably protects all the real, high, pleasant and true. In according to these highest principles, the divine and truly holy ideal of the kingdom of heaven is based. So if someone does not want to understand and accept it, the evil will of devil and Satan dominates over them. And also it will be a real sign that in this case God left them temporarily, letting them to stay in their misperceptions. And that is why, if currently someone's lazy mind or unreasonable heart will not be able to worthy acceptance of the holy truth of heaven, that is mental food. For them, as for babies, I can offer a nurser. As it was said, anyone fed by milk is unaware in the world of truth, because he is a baby. Whereas the solid food is common for perfect ones, whose feelings are accustomed to the defining the good and the evil by habit. In your interpretations, you base on the verses from Bible, but they have been read not once for almost 2000 years by ordinary Christians and great theologians, holy fathers and teachers of church, who have never been second to none in the capacity to understand what is written in Bible. How can these circumstances be estimated in terms of your statement about their teaching being mistaken? Why did this fact stay unnoticed by them? Yes, it is really true that everything written in Bible and the Christian volume was read and studied in detail by ordinary people and great theologians during a lot of centuries. So such difference in the interpretations of the questions I mentioned and which I pay attention of all the world on could appear just in one condition. If we had different Bibles and Christian volume. However, we all have the same Bible and the same Christian volume. And that is why the problem here is that what was written in the Bible and the Christian volume was interpreted in the wrong way. As in Bible, it wasn't said anywhere by a clue or indirectly that the holy angels in the kingdom of heaven divided into good and bad ones in the past, and that Satan, as the lightest of the angels, was among them as well. Only people themselves, by their human reasoning, have made such conclusions about the kingdom of heaven, whereas in fact there are direct and explicit evidences of the Holy Spirit in Bible that the devil and Satan has never been a real angel of light. However, to understand this, you have to think spiritually. With all due respect to the holy fathers and teachers of church, for me, in these questions, the truth is more precious. And that is why I am not just disagree with their statement about the devil and Satan as about the ex-angel of light, but I lay it on the line that they are absolutely wrong. Only God is impeccable, whereas humans tend to make mistakes and stumble at spiritual questions. In this context, hear what was written for us by Saint Cyril, Archbishop of Jerusalem, in 4th century in his theological works. This truly famous and high-spirited teacher of theology said, "Neither of divine and holy secrets of faith could be announced without the Holy Writ, being based just on a possibility and particular words. Even I cannot be trusted if you do not find the proof of my words in the Holy Writ." So, taking in account what was said, we have to understand that only in the Holy Writ there are real evidence which we were told about by the Holy Spirit. And that is why we should understand and estimate what was written in Bible spiritually. But not everybody can do it in such a way, but those who got such abilities from God. As for the question why the fact of misinterpretation of Bible hasn't been noticed by anybody, we have to say directly that for all theologists in the world, simple in fact, but incredibly important in its spiritual idea, divine principles of staying on the truth stayed unnoticed. However, it is easy to understand that all saints of celestial world have been staying on the truth surely and firmly from the beginning till nowadays, whereas all the others are in doubt. And that is why we won't let the honor and fame and holy dignity of angels of light be blackened and desecrated by our enemy, who wants to persuade all of us in his lie that a lot of holy angels, being fulfilled by the truth, turned out incapable to stay on this truth, as the devil himself, as it was said about him by God, did not stay on the truth. But it's not the same for everybody. But I understand everything about him, because in the questions about his being in the truth, or former being, one of the angels of light, the devil can seduce anybody, but not me. So only that one who has never had the truth cannot stay on it. But the idea that real saints have the truth inside could not stay, that is too much. And doesn't such statement insult the Holy Spirit of God? Because the Spirit of the truth, which sets us on different verity, has never said about such adverse understanding of the idea of the truth. According to this, I have a question. What else can we stay on except the truth? If being in truth, we cannot stay on it. And moreover, according to the interpretation of global teachers of theology, what the kind of truth it is if it's impossible for the saint to stay on it. So, by agreeing with their statement of what happened among the holy angels of God, don't you confuse anything by choosing between the good and the evil. Having your own position, different from the generally accepted one, you are the author of some books. What are they about? I have really written 3 books about theology. The first one is called "And There is Light in the Light." The idea what is connected with the questions which we subject to the public gaze in our project, The Truth of Heaven, is clarified in details and with the evidence in this book. The second one is called "Your Nativity, Fame and Honor." It is dedicated to the idea that having writers thinking, you should interpret and understand in a worthy way what was said in the Gospel of Matthew about the secret of the particular circumstances connected with the Nativity of Jesus Christ in the first chapter. The third one, with the name "Who We Are, Children of Adam or Ham's Inheritors," includes the description and explanation about my picture, The Glorification of God, in comparison with other pictures in the world, in which Adam and Eve are depicted in a trivial way, naked. Also, there is the fourth book. It is a draft with the operating name "If God is Omnipotent." What are the final aims of the project? What do you want to achieve and strive for? The final aim of our project, The Truth of Heaven, is the necessity to get across a mind and a heart of each Christian from 2.5 billion the true understanding of those goals and questions which we offer to discuss. It is impossible to do staying in one place. It is necessary to meet and communicate with people all over the world and open them the essence of the universe in the way it is presented in the picture, The Glorification of God. And for it we have to do a lot, so it is impossible to recount here, as only all together we Christians will be able to change the wrong interpretations in the dogmatic theology. The project is aimed to make changes in Bible dictionaries, encyclopedias, theological textbooks and other sources. To do it, we need to pay attention of the highest bishops of Christian churches to discuss it and make necessary decisions in local and ecumenical councils. And also we have to remember a medieval story about famous Galileo Galilei as an educative example for everybody. Not to let the repeating of the same criminal and disgraceful attitude in our days, as in the past, the right knowledge of the learned scholar, because of opportunistic reasons, was not accepted by church authorities, although he was absolutely right. In such a case, the main difference between these two events is that time the raised questions was just scientific, although it was with the reference to Bible. In our case, the questions are only biblical, spiritual. However, in order of importance, neither of these events in comparison with others could be less important, not just for us, but for all living creatures in this world. But if we look at our question individually, we can see that the particular importance of all this presents global, spiritual, meaning not just for our world, but also for the celestial world, not the night one. According to this, I hope you will be able to know and understand in the right way the true idea of the spiritual height and depth of everything that I am telling to you. To realize such an important and great project, you need strength, and it's not a secret, money. You don't lack the strength and determination. Wouldn't there be any difficulties with the financial questions? Yes, we fully understand that the absence of enough funding can result major difficulties in the successful promotion of the project The Truth of Heaven. But in this case, the possible danger that in the studied questions the insane Satan's lie and human misperception will still triumph is rising. But we cannot allow it to happen in any circumstances. And that is why we directly appeal to the all-Christian world for the financial and information support. By the references to the particular importance of the spiritual idea of the problem which we mark, we are accepting that the majority of 2.5 billion Christians, being sincere and religious, true and honest, protagonists for the truth and verity of God, will respond to it. These people who, at the beating of the heart, won't scrimp, and each individually will help the project by any reasonable amount. Also, we are planning to appeal for the fundraising to the international crowdfunding platform Indiegogo. But there has to be the right understanding among the Christians that the project, the Truth of Heaven, is not only ours, but in its goals and aims, it has to become a common deal for Christians of all confessions in this world. So we are appealing all Christians exactly to it. And about us personally, we don't have time for considering, and we absolutely cannot stop. As well, we are already on the move. Each tree is perceived by its fruit, and also everyone costs as much as what he or she bothers about costs.